And we're good. Okay. And so, what do the buttons do? I got another button. You're all right. Come on. I don't care. Come on. We official now. We got. None of these. If I press none of these, this room ain't gonna explode, right? All right. So I can. Okay. And this is the quality that will come out on there too, right? The level of volume, right? You're doing your thing, man. We appreciate you. We. How do I get this?
That's why I was like this. You're good to go.
Okay. I just wanted to learn everything.
If you wanted to mute your mics.
Okay.
Or you can text. And that way you can still hear it, but it's not going to come through on here.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're on the air, dude.
I mean, all right, it's already in front of you, so you deal with it.
What?
The whole button thing. I'm not.
Yeah, I know. That shit. Hey, this is awesome. Shout out to Juice, man.
Hey, love it.
Shout out to AJ, Piece It Together Studios for hooking us up with this. This is amazing. Nosa, open us up, brother. Do your thing. What we gonna do today? What we talking about?
Yeah. We're heading towards the part where everything is coming back. Like you remember back in the day where they would have like circus come to town and people would go watch them. You have gypsies.
I still never been to a
fighting, and everybody didn't have a phone at that time, so you just had to go watch the circus, and it was just that one big live show. They had lions and tigers and big animals playing. So. I think there's a different level of uncertainty that existed back in the day that actually gave this golden rush to a bunch of people, and that's why they call it a golden age. Like there's just this whole feeling of you actually don't know, for instance, if you're leaving the house, if you're gonna meet the person there or not, because you can't even call them.
Yeah.
If I say meet me at the train station at this time, the chances of me even being able to reach out to you and know where exactly you are at is impossible.
You talking about like even before like wired phones?
Yeah, even before like that.
Well,
I mean, even during the time of
you're gonna
wired
have
phones.
to be our Jamie, bro.
So
Can
wait,
you pull up shit while you're over there?
So even while we had wired phones. So even while
don't fuck with nothing if you don't have to. I'll pull it up on my phone.
So even while we had wired phones, right? We didn't have.
I think
we
the
didn't
80s
have
we
mobile
had
phones.
wire phones though.
But we didn't have mobile phones though, did we?
No, we didn't. I was just making sure because that's why I asked you. Like, are we talking what time? Are we talking like?
No, we're not going about the 1900s.
No phones at all.
No. I'm talking about that era right now.
Okay, so we're talking like I can dial you up.
Yeah, I could
ring,
dial
ring,
you.
ring. All right.
Yeah, a little landline there, but no mobile phone. So there was still some form of reserve in terms of our attention. Like if you go out there and you're playing, you're actually playing with your friends. It's no being on the phone. If you go to dinner,
hell no.
Yeah, you're actually at dinner.
I mean, there is no phone the whole time. Once you leave that house, you have zero communication with anything.
You know what's funny? Like phones actually evolved with the past, I think 30 years.
I would say every 3 years they fucking evolve now.
No, I mean
crazy.
when was the first time we actually had not a mobile phone, the portable one like the Nokias?
Like the Nokia.
Dude, what time did the Nokia come out? Was it like in the early 2000s?
That was probably 2000
90s?
and I honestly want to tell you probably the Nokia came out probably 2001.
Yeah, around that era.
2002, something like that.
Dude.
The first one probably, yeah.
Dude, if you had the Nokia at that time, you had to be doing something. And before then was the organizer. Did anybody ever have Did you ever have an organizer like a pager? They call it pager.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I was a fucking. My parents used to make me carry a fucking pager to school when I was a kid, dude. I was like, what? I was in kindergarten, I think, when I used to do that.
Yeah. So times have changed. And then speaking about music, the music from back in the day was more a little bit of live band. I wouldn't say a little bit, like a lot of live band, live music, live instrument. Than what we have now. We have a lot of synthetic music. I'm not saying either is bad, but there's a certain level of appreciation when everything comes from like raw artistic creation, like an actual person strumming the guitar. Someone is actually there hitting the drums. Someone is actually there doing all the stuff in real time. It's a different level of feeling for that.
Beautiful thing.
Even like with Hollywood, for instance, I remember back in the day where they had props more than CGI. So the creativity that they had in most movies that were blockbusters at that time. If you go watch it, you realize the amount of work it even takes, the artistic genius behind and minds behind this creation when it comes to how they created all that stuff without CGI. And now we have CGI. People are saying it's great. Some people are complaining that, oh, we missed the props. So it's all been evolving, but what a beautiful era we're at. So we still appreciate the 80s because everything we have now came from there. The culture, the hip hop, the following, the festival, people following crowds around. What do we have? We have like Coachella. You know, a bunch of people do a lot of drugs there, get fried up, follow the bands, because we do not have that anymore. So whenever we find the chance to be able to get that again, the whole live band thing, we jump at it. So that's why festivals are always gonna be sold out for sure.
Yeah. Was I your first experience of a music festival? Did I introduce you to that?
No. You were my first. You took me to the first rock festival I ever went to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your first time ever seeing rock live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, dude, the whole 80s, the whole 80s era is like kind of like what my family's like really deep, like everything, like my family was in bands and stuff, coming up playing music.
Yeah.
Rock, that's why rock is like my shit. My dad, you know, he's hardcore guitar player, knows everything about every song, you know, every 80s movie. Like he's just one of those kind of guys. Every 80s video game he's played it, you know. We'll get there, we'll get to the video games and stuff because I wanted to talk about that a little bit. But talking about festivals and music and stuff, and I think that's something that's super underappreciated by this culture because live music is not like what
it's not
everybody's priority is anymore.
Yeah.
Like people like, yeah, I mean, going to a concert's awesome, you know, going to the, you know, seeing a DJ on set or whatever, all that shit's cool. But like nowadays it's not as like idolized. It's like going to a stadium and seeing fucking Def Leppard rock the hell out or Motley Crue throw down. You know, you ain't got a cell phone in your hand. You ain't doing, like, it's just a wild night that you probably don't remember from start to finish. But
right.
That was that culture, that era.
Like you just get in the moment, you are there, and it's one of those things that makes you appreciate even like having life more and more. Because I mean, they say music is for the soul, so I guess being there while people are creating this stuff, and it's someone that looks like it's just an experience that you cannot basically get over from. So it's a high that I always look forward to getting into. That's why festivals they've become my thing now. So I look forward to always going out there. To
love a good festival.
Yeah, to have a live band. And even at the bar, like one thing that has died down too is like we have poetic nights back in the day. We had comedians, you had bands come in the club and they would play a live session while people were just drinking. Well, jazz is a dying thing now. Nobody even talks about jazz anymore. The only time we hear about jazz is when it's being sampled. Except you're a really jazz head and they have their own little culture going on. So a bunch of stuff from back in the day are basically giving way to like the new generation, the new culture. Is it good or bad? That I can't tell, but something I do know, everything evolves. But the point we're heading towards is where I'm not clear on. Is it something where we're going to just do away with the live band and never go back to that? Are we evolving fully synthetic? Because I appreciate that part, and I don't want that culture to ever go away.
I don't think live shows will ever. If that goes away, then we're all fucked.
Right.
If we get rid of live music and seeing live shows, but you also got to remember too, like, it's all about location.
Yeah.
Where you live. This culture still exists in some places. You know,
I heard in New Orleans they have a big live show.
I mean, yeah, Nashville. You go to a lot of these kind of places. They still have the live culture is the way to go.
Yeah.
So it all depends on where you're at and like how the different generations mix with the music, and like around here, nobody around here really like is gonna care for rock music live at a bar. I could tell you that right now. But like, you know what I mean? You go. Probably out west, I would say you're gonna see a lot of people start to enjoy that kind of music differently. Same with like Nashville is all country. You're gonna be seeing a lot of country. Obviously, everybody, you know, it's like a balance of everything. When you say Juice, like if somebody plays country, they probably play a little bit of rock with their country. Like it's all mixed together now. It's so much like everything's
everything has become like a hybrid.
Yeah, everybody's got like all the country artists now have like hip hop songs, right?
Yeah.
But back in the day, country was country, and you only did country. You were rock, and you did rock. You did metal, like whatever it was you did, that's what you stuck with. Now it's like you got Ozzy Osbourne making tracks with Post,
Right?
Like that. Yeah, but it's tough. It's tough though. It's
It
tough.
is.
I will say it's tough.
It is. That's
where you take away from the live element. It's a little different.
That's one of the things I was trying to point out, that I'm appreciative of the fact that we could mix all this together, but it's one of those things where you still don't want the sauce to die though. Because there's something that comes from that sauce that we could never get back if we let it go. Another perfect example is the fact that I've never heard of a jazz festival in a long time. It only happens in places where they have like some artistic thing going on, like New York and like the popular cities everybody knows around the world. But in little towns here and there, jazz is just something nobody really appreciates anymore. And jazz is such a beautiful music. It's kind of like one of those things where in chaos, you then find the rhythm of the soul. Like jazz, it almost sounds like it's all over the place, but then when you actually sit back and relax, there's just soul and some streamline of entertainment to it.
Didn't most genres like kind of like originate from jazz?
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think rock seems like rock and country. Sometimes they almost
I like
get
blues.
that feeling.
I like blues.
I think blues and jazz.
Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah, like old
Blues
like
and jazz. Yeah, I think
like
blues and jazz.
Memphis style, like on the guitar with the what's that device they put on their finger? The slide, bro. When they start hitting that shit.
What's the name of that guy?
Badass.
What's the name of that? BB King. Yo, you should hear that
Speaking of
guy.
80s movies, real quick. Speaking of 80s movies, bro, and talking about the 80s, you got to see this movie. It's called Crossroads. It's got the kid from, like, I'm a huge music guy. Like, if you like 80s movies and old movies, you got to see this movie. It's called The Crossroads. It's got the Karate Kid who plays Daniel LaRusso, the guy who plays Daniel LaRusso. What the hell is his name? I can't think of it. He is the main character, and he's like a guitar player.
Okay.
And
I think you showed me a clip.
I think
from
I showed you the guitar battle.
where the other guy signed a
deal with the devil and shit like that.
And he still lost.
And then he lost to the kid for like
pure
playing with the
blues.
slide.
Yeah, that was pure blues.
Yeah, that was some that right there that's some shredding. I love that. Anything I could just get on a guitar and create crazy, beautiful noises is got my 100% respect always.
Yeah, even speaking of 80s movies, the Star Wars back in the day, though, there's just something about them. I like the CGI now, but there's just something about the Star Wars back in the day that I can never let go of. The props, the way everything looked real, it almost looked like something was happening in another planet. I mean, CGI gives us the feel, but we could just tell it's synthetic. So
You want to hear something crazy?
Hey, Hollywood, I think you should give us more props than CGI.
You want to hear something crazy?
What?
I've never seen I don't remember at least fully watching through a Star Wars.
Really? Why?
I just never have. Like I've never sat down and like
you know
and
what?
It's crazy that we're sitting here talking about this right now, but like I've been so invested in other areas of that culture and that time frame and time period. Like Star Wars is like the least of my worries. Like I also never watched like Harry Potter and shit like that.
Oh, okay. So
sci-fi stuff doesn't really do it for me.
I figured because
I'm not a big sci-fi guy.
Yeah, sci-fi like
I do like it. I just I don't
like
care for it that much.
Thing. Like something because is he because of the fact that it's so versatile, or like the stories is so intertwined? So do you get bored of it like that way?
No, not exactly. Like I think Star Wars is cool. The concept is cool.
Okay.
But like I just know that it's it's a lot to it.
Yeah,
it's like a deep storyline. It's one of the biggest ever. Like there's a lot. Like there's some like stuff like Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. Like I haven't dove into those kind of things.
Oh, you haven't watched Lord of the Rings?
Nah, I need to start all that shit.
Lord of the Rings you haven't seen. You haven't seen The Hobbit, I'm guessing. So
nah, I'm not like a show guy. I'm not like I do watch a lot of fucking movies and I do like shows, but like I haven't seen these like big name that's like you got to dive deep into like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, like all that kind of shit. I don't watch that.
Okay, so the reason I even got into films like that was I love two things. One was the epic movies that had the whole story of the guys going to war, save the colony or whatever. I like that whole vibe.
Yeah, and then I like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I like mystery as well. That's why I like Harry Potter, because I've always been a great believer that there are always things lurking in the dark. That's just the truth. But and I always believe that there are other dimensions to what we have here. There are things you don't know that exist simultaneously as we are existing as well. So it was just fun to actually take the mind to explore that. What are the possibilities that there are some guys with wands and brooms and just running around in the jungle and doing some weird magic trick? So you never know. Hey, so that's why I liked Harry Potter. It was just a world on its own that was created, and I liked diving into there. And I heard people who read the book said that the book gives more details than the movie. I've never read the book.
People say that about every fucking book.
Exactly.
I don't like reading books. I started because it's good for you. You know, you have to.
Yeah,
but
and there's certain books I read. I don't read books
rather watch a movie.
I don't like, for instance, I don't read fairy tales in like novels. I don't like sci-fi novels. They're too like...
You don't like reading something you know is fake.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck am I reading this for? I would just to see it, imagine. Yeah. I'm kind of the same way.
I like books that basically take a little bit of dive into like the mind and just basically teach me more about myself.
I do like self-help books.
Yeah, teach me more about myself.
Shout out. Actually, I meant to recommend you to this book. Have I told you about the fuck?
Culture?
The Code of Culture is a good one. You read that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you didn't read that one. That was fire. Code of Culture is fire. I only read like half of it. I never got to finish it because I had to give it back to the person that lent it to me. But the Alter Ego Effect. That's a fire book.
Yeah, so
fire book.
The audiobook, I've had the audiobook and I've nearly finished it actually. It's a great book. It is a great book. Yeah, it is a great book. And that's the thing with the alter ego. We all practice it, but the book just opens more insight into what you've been doing and you didn't even know.
It makes you more aware of like, oh shit, I already do this kind of. Or if you don't already do it, like now you discovered something about yourself. So
yeah, the alter ego effect is nice. I like. Right now I'm reading The Mafia Manager. Yeah, it's a silly book, but I wouldn't call it silly necessarily, metaphorically speaking, of course. Yes, the thing with The Mafia Manager, it just gives a little bit of a brutal insight into how you could be savvy at business and still be sane. Because sometimes, I'm telling you, in terms of business, people go wild and do some insane things just to get things done.
Yeah, we know all about that.
Yeah, so, but with The Mafia Manager, it basically teaches you how to be sane, metaphorically speaking, of course. If you read the book, you understand what I'm saying. And if you know something about the mafia, is they take over silently. It's kind of one of those things that also links the whole idea of water being able to penetrate a rock. It takes its time, but guess what? Years and years and years and years of erosion, and finally the water just pierced through the rock. So the Mafia Manager teaches you how the mafia takes over without actually looking like they're taking over.
Okay, I need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you some form of code of conduct. Like for instance, in the book, it tells you not to mess with your boss's girlfriend, wife, daughter, nephew, or any woman related to your boss, because you don't want your boss to actually get jealous of you. If your boss gets jealous of you, then you've taken away the favor he has towards you that will make you grow in the industry.
That's a fair point. I agree with that.
There's just some little stuff here and there that teaches you how to not mess up your own life while being a fool. So you got to keep some things out of business.
It teaches you to fucking understand that life's a chess game, bro.
It is.
You got to play that shit right. If you don't play that shit right, you're going to fuck up, man. You're going to be regretting it.
Remember the old James Bond movies? I know Juice is going to be a big fan of this one. The old James Bond movies where...
James Bond?
Yeah. Sean Connery. Did you ever watch? Were you into the whole James Bond franchise?
I've seen it.
Yeah. So the old,
you talking about the newer ones or old ones?
The older ones, like Goldfish.
I've seen them, but I don't really remember them like that.
So
like the storyline.
I
know the newer ones though.
Do we say James Bond is the British version of what's the Tom Cruise one?
Don't. You talking about Top Gun?
No, not Top Gun. Mission Impossible. Do we say James Bond is the British version of Mission Impossible?
I do love some Mission Impossible.
I do, but I mean,
you don't fuck with Tom Cruise?
I like Tom Cruise though.
Why? Because I don't even fuck with Tom Cruise.
I know he's.
A lot of people think he's wild. He's a crazy dude. Yeah, I feel you. Oh shit!
No, I love me some Tom Cruise.
Next thing you know, we're gonna fucking hear the theme song. He's gonna be busting through the window.
If I'm correct, the Tom Cruise was the one who played The Last Samurai.
The Last Samurai.
It was Tom Cruise. That was Tom Cruise, right? That was one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. The Last Samurai, Tom Cruise. Go check it out. It's old.
How have I not
too.
seen that?
It's a great movie.
I love Tom. I've seen almost all the time.
You know someone else who I like? Kristen Bell.
Oh,
Speaking of Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, that's the best. First of all, shout out to the best Batman of all time.
Straight up.
Dude,
They said that. And
never.
Alongside R.I.P. to the greatest Joker ever, Heath Ledger. Yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah.
He was the Joker. He didn't play the Joker. He was the Joker. There's a difference.
Yeah, he was the fucking Joker.
Yo, the nurse scene, the scene where he came out of the hospital, where he was wearing the nurse uniform, still one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen in the entire Hollywood movie.
That movie.
It was just, it was wild.
Dark fucking Night. That is a goated ass movie.
He had the best Bane. He had the best Joker. Like, back to back, the dude just, his whole series was just well put together. Kristen Bale. Like, shout out to the guy.
Who was the director of that?
I don't know.
Michael Bay? Was it Michael Bay? No. He's the director of Transformers.
Whoever directs the Batmans,
not just the
DC.
Batman. The new one's some shit. Fuck that new one. No offense to fucking.
But here's the thing though, it's still better than the whole other DC movies that they've been doing. Cause like the last that was Avengers is that's Marvel. The last, what did they call theirs again? Where they assemble.
Are you talking about Avengers and
no, DC has theirs.
Yeah,
what they call
that's the
what they call theirs again?
Theirs is the Justice League.
Yeah, the Justice League. I mean, I've not been impressed by what they've done with that story. Because, I mean, as someone who watched a lot of who read a lot of comics and watched a lot of stuff they did with the cartoons, like they've not done well with this. There's so many other sides to it that they could have played rather than just play. It was so bare. There was not a lot of storyline to it. There was a lot of action, brawling. But it didn't.
But not like just, why the fuck they're brawling.
Yeah, I couldn't just piece it all together. So I think they could have done a better job.
I didn't really dive into the Justice League yet.
Oh, so
I'm a big Marvel guy.
Yeah. Oh, so I like.
I do love Batman, but
exactly.
But like you said, the storyline doesn't intrigue me in Justice League. It's like the storyline in fucking Marvel is
Avengers.
fire.
Avengers is fire.
Fire.
Yeah, Avengers is. I like the way they put the layers back to back, little by little. They spoof others.
And it switches up like one like not all of them take place in the future, and they dive. I love how they dive into every character.
Yeah,
they got Thor's movies, they got Iron Man's movies, they got Spider-Man. Like you got so many different heroes and characters that they dive into and show you their backstory. You can like obviously, yeah, DC does that too, but in a comic sense, but like not really movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't see, like they have a few, they have Green Lantern, they have a couple of good bangers, but like they don't have like the depth that Marvel has in like straight up character like development. Character development, that's the word I'm looking for.
Marvel has a lot of characters. We have Deadpool on the side there. Deadpool's super great, annoying. And I think Deadpool is Marvel, right? Not DC.
Yeah, Deadpool's Marvel.
Because the thing
no, Deadpool is what's X-Men?
Exactly, yeah, X-Men.
Is X-Men Marvel?
Yeah, X-Men is Marvel. So here's the thing with DC and Marvel. There's something they do. I think they have the same characters with the same power, but they just like model them differently. So from what I heard Stan Lee used to work for DC. Or
that's what a superhero is.
Yeah, I think Stan Lee used to work for DC, and then he moved to Marvel. I heard that a little bit of that story. There was a backstory behind why some of the characters are the same. For instance, the Flash is DC's speedster, but Marvel has theirs, which is a Quicksilver. Yeah, so you can.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like they have some. What's weird is like from each side, that special person in that character like either is like well known or not. Like nobody knows who the fuck Quicksilver.
Quicksilver is. Yeah,
but everybody knows who the Flash is.
Right,
you know
but
I mean?
And then the Flash not known for lightning. Thor is, but he kind of uses lightning speeds and stuff. Like but Thor is known for being the god of thunder.
Who's your favorite out of all of them? Number one.
Both on both sides, or
nah,
DC? Overall, Batman.
Batman's your favorite? Why? Because he's all brains and he's real?
No, because of his resume.
He's real.
Yeah, he's real. That's one.
You don't have actual powers.
It's very possible. You know what he said? This is why I think Batman is very possible. When he was asked, "Sir, what is your superpower?" You know what he said? He said, "I'm rich as fuck."
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I've always said that since a kid. I love Batman because Batman was real. I was like, you could actually be him.
Yeah.
If you really, really tried and you had the money to, you could really do some sick ass shit.
I mean, you get so rich to the point where all you have to do is train. You don't have to really do anything
martial
anymore.
Arts, train.
Yeah. And And why I
Get
respect
the technology that you need.
why I respect Batman the most is because he doesn't have to do what he's doing. He doesn't have to train that hard. He's so rich, he really doesn't have to do a bunch of all this stuff, put himself in danger, knowing he could lose it all. He has so much wealth. So to be able to ground yourself to that part where you make pain your friend, even while not needing pain, you necessarily don't have to do all that. So I respect him a lot for that as well.
Yeah, I would agree with you, but especially after the recent movies, it was always like this before. But the recent Avengers, man, I just love Iron Man. I love Tony Stark. I don't know, something about his character, man. He's a character. Like,
He is.
I love his brain. I love the brains. I love the sarcasm. I love the attitude. I love the asshole, like him being an asshole. I also love him actually, like, he genuinely cares about shit.
Yeah.
His whole character is cool as fuck. And then the way he just, like, I feel like he's always prepared or always takes care of every single problem that gets presented. He's like they all look to him. Like,
Yeah.
they all look to him.
Yeah, he's
He saved the fucking world, the last one. We're talking about fucking this shit like it's real, though.
No. I mean, it's something we're passionate about. I think with Tony Stark, the only thing I'm drawn towards Tony Stark for is the fact that he never changes his expression. He's so, like, stoic. Like, no matter how serious or
Yeah.
no matter how serious,
Yep.
bad,
No, you're
or
right.
mediocre the situation is, Tony Stark is always the same, and that comes from
One wavelength. He operates on one wavelength.
exactly, and that's hard to do. Like, that's hard to pull off,
Especially doing
as a
that
character. Yeah, especially with the dangers that he goes through. So those are things that we draw from superheroes that makes us see, like, the human in them, and we get connected to them, and that's why we like them. Bruce Wayne, simply because he has money and still he's doing, like, the dumb shit in the gutters and still rolling with criminals. Respect that guy. And speaking of the 80s entertainment too, did you watch wrestling when you were growing up?
WWE, I never,
Yeah.
I was like that real poppin' era of it was, like, just as I was a little too, like, young to really watch it. Like, I wasn't buying pay-per-views. My parents weren't buying pay-per-views. I was probably like, that era, I was probably like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then it kind of started, like, dying off, and MMA started kind of taking over, and boxing and stuff. Because I would say, 2015 was when MMA, like, really was just, like,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think that's when they picked up, like, Monster and Reebok and all that stuff.
When the Gracies came on and all that.
No. That's like that's like 19.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just the Gracie who made, but the Gracie, did he affect the culture of MMA somehow? Did they?
I mean, they were the first guys to fucking do jujitsu or get jujitsu. They were the first family that transcended jujitsu to what it is today, and the base of jujitsu, and then they brought it to the cage when the cage became a thing. But the jujitsu was long before the cage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was families of black belts before they had the cage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, I heard jiu-jitsu came from Japan, right?
Yeah, it started in Japan.
Judo.
Yeah, Japan. All martial arts originate from Asia, 100%.
Yeah.
But what happened was the Brazilians and the Portuguese, I think, try to take a form of Japanese jiu-jitsu, and it like didn't work in certain cases. Like, if the guy was bigger than you, Japanese jiu-jitsu like wouldn't work. The moves wouldn't work, apparently. Okay. And the Portuguese, since they were smaller, obviously, yeah, because Brazilians speak Portuguese, right?
Yeah,
if you're Brazil. So the Portuguese took it and tried to recreate it and put their own twist on it and spin off, so that way, for the smaller man,
to be able to beat the bigger guy.
To be able to beat the bigger guy. Okay. And then it became Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Ah.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, correct me. I mean, there's gonna be fucking our jiu-jitsu nerds on here trying to tell me something different, but I mean, that's the consensus of all of it, pretty much. I'm pretty sure, from what I know.
Right. I mean, at this point, who cares? Everybody in the world does jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting that way.
It's a big thing. It's a big culture now. I mean, it's one of those things where one of the reasons I like the fact that it's cool is you just see that guy, he's sitting in there, he's a nerd wearing glasses, but he's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. he looks lanky. Kyle?
No.
Who?
No.
He's talking about a famous guy.
From one, Mikey Muska Meska.
What?
I know which name you're talking about. What about him?
He's a beast, but you'd never expect it.
In jiu-jitsu? Yeah, I'm about to look into him.
Is he one of those
I'm not a big jiu-jitsu guy.
scrawny guys? He just looks corny, but he's a, yeah.
Like soft spoken.
Yeah, that's the thing with jiu-jitsu. It's kind of like
Gentle.
Nerdy looking motherfuckers. Yeah, they're the one
the
who
most
do the glasses. You watch out for.
underestimated guys on the mat are usually the guys who you should be running
Yeah.
away from.
Yep.
The dude who's just crony, just chilling back there and just minding his business. Don't call him out to roll. Just leave him alone. He's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck that nerd up, and then he twists your whole body, and now you're fucking tapping out. So these are the things that with culture that's it has led to this point. Japanese, Portuguese, and now we got everybody around the world trying to roll. So culture spreads, whether you like it or not, it does.
Speaking of martial arts, let's talk about the 80s martial art, fucking karate. Karate.
Is karate useful or not? Yes, it is.
Karate. Yeah, I mean, it's useful for sure. It definitely has, it's watered down. Back then, karate was badass. Like, you talk about OG karate, like, where people took it serious.
Okay.
It was like a real deal. It was like that. It was the fighting of that time. It was a different era, and that was the 80s era a little bit. Like, you talking about Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, like Van Damme, Bloodsport, all that OG shit. That's all 80s martial arts, bro. Bruce Lee.
Van Damme
Bruce Lee's the 80s era,
films
right?
with fire.
Yeah, is Bruce Lee 80s, right?
Bruce Lee's 80s.
Yeah, Bruce Lee's 80s. Like, they're all that shit, bro. Those guys, like...
No, I think Bruce Lee's 90s.
70s, 80s.
Bro, he definitely
70s,
was
80s.
alive in the 80s. Yeah,
okay.
definitely. That's when his first movies started coming out, like Enter the Dragon
Van
and shit
Damme
like
was
that, bro.
solid. I think there was one where he did the Cyborg movie.
Sylvester Stallone, Rambo, all that shit.
Dolph Lundgren. Did you ever see Dolph
Rocky.
Lundgren? Yeah. Did you ever see Universal Soldier?
No.
Oh, that was Dolph Lundgren and Van Damme. They were both on the same movie.
Oh, wait,
It was
who?
Fire.
What?
Dolph Lundgren. Do you know Dolph Lundgren?
No, I'm talking about the name of the movie.
Universal Soldier.
I've probably seen it, but because I've seen almost every fucking Van Damme movie.
Oh, yeah. Do you ever see Red Scorpion?
Yep. Yeah.
That's Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wait. What? Red Scorpion?
Yeah, Red Scorpion. He was a soldier who I can't.
Are you talking about the general? The general in the movie? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the tall Dolph Lundgren is. I was trying to explain who Dolph Lundgren is. He's a tall. Does
he play the general?
No, he doesn't. He's a soldier who came to save people. It's like a Rambo.
All right, I'm
kind
thinking
of
a different movie.
Yeah, that's a different movie you're talking about. So the thing with back in the day was those things that they had where they would just use props. The cars basically looked like were blowing up. They did. I think that was what just ignited the fire. That's why we can never throw.
That car was actually blowing the
up.
fuck up.
Yeah, it was blowing up. Even if it's a fake car, but it was blowing the fuck up.
That car was blowing up.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't do it very often. It's not like Fast
cool.
and Furious where you see 15 cars blow up in a movie now.
Yeah, it was cool. What are the movies were tough at that time that were martial art movies? Apart from Van Damme.
I mean, I pretty much announced all of them.
Yeah. Who
else?
else?
I mean, you got other guys like you got all the
Jet
Lees.
Lees. Yeah, Jet Li.
All the Lees
Jackie Chan.
Yeah, all the. I mean, like there was so many to go on, but there's too many to really talk about. Honestly, like there's a lot.
Chuck Norris was
Chuck Norris. I mean, Chuck Norris.
That's the Godfather.
That's
the Godfather.
He's one of
yeah.
No, he ain't the guy.
Who?
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee is the pioneer of
MMA.
No, Bruce Lee is the pioneer of martial arts, like real solid martial arts. He's the face of it. That's why he's the face of it. That's why he's the GOAT. Like Bruce Lee brought that shit to the table. He was, when they first started doing films in Japan of martial arts, like that's dude, you gotta think Bruce Lee is from Japan.
Yeah.
Or not Japan. Yeah. No. Where I think it's Japan. I'm almost positive.
No, I don't think he's from Japan. Is he?
Huh?
I mean, from somewhere. He's from somewhere in Asia. You want to check?
No, somewhere in Asia.
Check it on your phone.
Yeah.
Check it on your phone. Where's Bruce Lee from?
I'm gonna feel like a dumbass. I don't know why I was saying Japan so much, but his movies grew up came up in Asia, and then it transcended.
So people call
to America, like, huh?
San Francisco, California.
He's from San Francisco, but his movies. I'm talking about something about his movies. Like, I don't know what I read this. Bruce Lee's from San Francisco, California.
Francisco, California. That's what Google said.
That man made us believe that he was from somewhere.
Bro, but no, listen, real shit. His movies came from the
settings.
He recorded and everything was out in Asia. Like they were in Asian language and shit like that. Like you You know what I mean? Like there was like it can't. The producers, the directors, like they were all from. It was from Asia.
I think it's something that even so.
America didn't stop popping off with it until after they got him. Until they got him out there. Once they put him out there, everybody was like, "Oh, we need that."
Asia had more action. Like Asia, people sleep on like movies from back in the day where Asia had like Jet Li. If you go watch Jet Li old movies where they used to fly around and stuff and do some busty power movie, it was tough. There's a movie called Evil Cult. Go check out Evil Cult. I mean, it's gonna be funny now that CJ has spoiled us, but back in the day, that was fire. It was so fire that in Africa at that time, I had to go to my neighbor who had power to go peep through his window to watch it. Nah, that was on fire movie. Go watch Evil Cult by Jet Li.
Okay.
You're gonna enjoy it. If you want to look something, if you want to watch something back in the '80s that just is so fun, it's epic. There's a sense of live battle. They were fighting.
He's bad, motherfucker.
Yeah, Jet Li was throwing powers from his hand and like destroying the ground and stuff. So yeah, go watch Evil Cult. It was a nice one. Detective. We've talked about detective kind of movies. We talk about martial art. What are we missing here now?
What, the movie Scandal?
Yeah.
Of things? I mean, well, you got to think those are like, that was like what was coming out of that time period.
Yeah, the blockbusters.
That was like the martial arts was popping real big back in the 80s. The metal, like the hair bands, the 80s hair bands. Fucking what? You got like Motley Crue, I'm pretty sure. Like, Motley Crue, Def, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, all these bands coming up through this era, just dropping fire ass music.
Yeah.
The movies. Nothing beats an '80s movie. You know what I mean? There's storylines.
You can't go wrong with the classics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so good they're recreating it. That's how good they were.
Yeah, that is true. Like now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with these newer ones,
like newer ones, a newer version. Like even Spawn. I heard you're working on Spawn now.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Or no, wait. Okay, so I was laying in bed yesterday and I was looking through a movie to watch and I saw Spawn and I was like, this shit sounds fucking stupid. What is this? It's from it's like 1983 or some shit.
Spawn, it's fine.
Yeah, he's like, all right, so I'm gonna have to watch it. It's like some about an assassin and all this shit. Yeah, that's like, I couldn't do his outfit, man. His character,
he was stupid. Back in the day,
he
had
looked
some
stupid as hell.
stuff,
So I'd be interested to see what they come out with next. But talking about 80s, there's one more thing too that like started popping off around this time frame, or was this 90s? Would you say was video games like the 90s or 80s, like the old
90s.
Like Sega's
90s?
Are you sure?
Yeah, it was 90s. I'm pretty sure it was 90s. Arcade. I'm pretty sure that was 90s. That's when he popped.
What's
up.
the oldest game system? Nintendo 64, Sony, or Sega?
Atari, I think.
The Atari. Well, that's owned by Nintendo, isn't it? Oh no, Atari is totally separate. Yeah, Atari.
Oh, was that the one where you had the?
My boy
used
dad used to play Atari.
What was Atari? Was that the ones where you had the?
No. I'll tell you about Atari.
Yeah.
Yep, 50 years, 1972.
Wow.
That's when Atari came out.
Wow.
So Atari is like
the OG.
It's kind of like the ones where like you plug it into the TV. Like you plug it in, like you plug it into the TV and you got like a little remote. You got these kind of game, like what was a game I'd play on Atari? Like my friend's dad has one, right? He had set up in the living room. He would just play it whenever he was sitting around doing nothing on a Saturday or Sunday. Play like baseball, like this baseball game, and it literally looks like almost like on a TV, right? Not like a handheld thing. It's on a TV, and it looks like something that you'd be playing like on like a machine, like an old school machine, like a pinball machine or something. Like you're playing baseball, but like it's like super 2D. It's like the characters are like black, like all black, like the color black, like little digital dots, and like there's no color really to it and shit. Yeah, it's like real basic games.
You remember the first soccer game in Sega?
Where it's bouncing off the
you see them from the top and they're just playing it around.
Yeah. That's what that era was.
And then
like.
we had PlayStation. PlayStation 1 took us out the water. Like it blew our minds. And so when kids see PlayStation 5 now and they're all hyped up, and I'm like, they had no idea the impact PlayStation 1 had on the gaming culture.
Did you ever own a PlayStation 1?
A PlayStation 1? No, I never owned one.
I've owned every single gaming console that's ever been out besides the old Ataris. I've had one and I played them.
How I got hold of a PlayStation 1 was my neighbor's cousins came from America and they brought a PlayStation 1 and 2. They never played the 2 because at that time they were waiting for the games to come out.
PS2 was another one. Like
No, the transition
Boom. We got a fucking Guitar Hero and shit.
Yes, the thing.
Tekken, dude. I used to play all the fuck out of that shit.
PS2 was so good. Even PS3, 4, and 5.
Right in the next room.
I think PS2 is one of the best ones so far because I think it's still the most sold console in every gaming industry.
Yeah, PS2 was sick.
Yeah,
legendary era.
I think it was a transition of graphics. We've never seen those type of graphics before. PS1 was good, but PS2 just blew us out the water.
After that was the fucking Wii. No, the 360. No, it was the Wii. Was it the Wii or 360 that came out first? Xbox. Xbox. The first Xbox obviously was right after PS2, right? Or was it the same time?
That's the big box.
The big black one.
Oh yeah. It was at the same time with PS2.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And then the Wii came out, right? The Wii was fire too. Yeah. I used to fuck with the Wii. Now it's had its heyday, but the Wii is still fun sometimes. Like if you play it,
I think I think the Wii is a classic game to actually enjoy with friends and family.
Yeah. No,
it's very competitive. So I still
play GameCube.
No, I never played GameCube. I heard of GameCube.
Crazy Taxi on the GameCube, man. I used to fuck it up. GTA on the GameCube, bro. What else? What was before then? All right, so you never played any of those?
Oh, so PS2 was the one that brought San Andreas CJ.
Yeah.
That's what because San Andreas it's a culture on its own.
Bro,
Grand Theft Auto, it's a culture on its own.
My parents wouldn't even let me play that shit.
Yeah,
I would have to like sneak up, dude. I would have to sneak over to my neighbor's house. Right, he was like 3 or 4 years older than me, and he had everything. He had PlayStation 2, Guitar Hero, Tekken, Skate. GTA,
Tony Hawk's,
to all the Tony Hawk's, every game you could think of, and we would just go over there and play all night fucking long, bro. And San Andreas, that's an OG game for sure.
It is.
What'd you play on the PlayStation 1?
Xena.
Xena,
the Warrior Princess. I love that game. I played a lot of Spyro.
I played I used to play that on Xbox.
I love Spyro.
The original Xbox.
Yeah, the Spyro the Little Dragon.
Yeah,
one of my best games ever. I played
racing games in PlayStation 1. A lot of like old racing games. Like I played fucking Dukes of Hazzard at PlayStation 1. Like Rallycross and shit.
Soccer. I played a lot of soccer.
PES?
Yeah, PES. There was PES and there was FIFA. No, I know it was PES first. PES is the OG before even FIFA came out.
I feel like yeah, for sure. I feel like the biggest groundbreaker though is 360. When Xbox 360 came out, we had a whole new world of Microsoft. Like gaming with the online, the Call of Duty online, all the just like it brought a whole new realm of like video games to the table. That's when like people were addicted to video games. Like you were sitting inside playing video games a lot of the time. If you liked video games, that's all you were doing.
And who would have thought that now people make a career out of it? People actually play video games for a living and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, that's why I always talk about the fact that the culture might be evolving towards some point where people feel we have no control, but at the same time, we never had control. There was never any control on anything. Remember how wild it was back in the day when things like that came out? When PlayStation 2 came out, I was like, yeah, this is it.
That's how it is with every era.
It never gets better than this.
Yeah, this is the way it gets better than this.
Yeah, it never gets better than this.
And now we're like, what's next? Like every time the new iPhone comes out, I wonder what the next one's gonna be like.
Yeah, I'm like
Russian shit.
I'm pretty sure back in like maybe the 1900s when someone first when the first set of planes came out. Remember, you seen the Nazi and like back in the World War I, the kind of planes they used for their bombing jets, it was like a biplane, and they felt like, this is technology at its finest. And now we have like bomber jets that would speed
Harriers. Jets that can just float.
Yep, we even have ones that would destroy you, and you would not even detect them. So it's a thing where, are we really excited for the fact that it's evolving, or are we just caught up in the 80s? So I love the 80s, but am I getting caught up in it by still wanting that culture, or should I let go and just let evolution do its thing?
This is something that runs through my mind all the time. I feel like I was just born like in the wrong generation, man. Like, like I wish I was in like the 80s, the MJ era, like coming up through there, like experiencing like. Obviously, it's cool, man. Technology is great. Everything like this. We didn't have this, we wouldn't be doing what I do now. I wouldn't be doing MMA. But like, I wish I could experience what it's like to live through that era of like super simplicity and like just super like on another level of just like everything was like had this special meaning and culture to it because it was the first.
Yeah.
It was like the beginning. This was the beginning of this, and like it was like this was the beginning of that. Everything now we have is just basically stemmed off of everything we created in the 80s.
Yeah.
And like how more advanced it's been. Do you know what I mean?
That's
The 80s was like the era of like, oh fuck. The 80s and 90s is like we started dropping shit that people didn't even think was ever gonna be like.
Yeah, showmanship took another turn back in it. Like showmanship was just different.
Sports popped off, like
a
everything,
lot of
dude.
things. Like
Everything.
people started seeing how we could make money on TV screens, and it was
People
like,
just started seeing
"Woo,
money.
Let's fucking go. And I mean, think about even the transition in technology. We came from carrying our TV with like 10 people are gonna actually carry a TV upstairs. Now you could just lift it up because it's in a little box.
And it's 10 times bigger.
And it's 10 times bigger and better. So, I mean, I still would like the simplicity, like you said, of the 80s. I just like the uncertainty of things. Like just waking up and not really caring about what's going on in the news except I turn on the radio. There's really nothing entertaining on TV except a certain time of the day, or you go get a VCD or something to put in the little box you have and watch it. So you have you had a choice to indulge in certain things rather than it being blasted.
I
on
totally
our
agree.
face
And like
every day on your phone.
like hangouts, like
Yeah.
like you had like if you want to see people, you had to go to these places where these people would always hang, like mingle around, like even like when I was growing up, like our thing was like the mall. Like when I was in middle school and shit, like kids
Okay.
were at the mall. Like you go meet up at the mall. Back in the 80s, like there's so many different things to do. Like drive-in theaters aren't even a thing anymore. Like that, I hate that shit. I mean, they're a thing, but like it's so hard. Like we don't even have one around here like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they do them on the beach and shit, but it's not the same. Like a real drive-in theater or like just certain experiences that they got to have that we don't have anymore because it's a dying art because it's like old technology.
I mean, this generation, most of the stuff that used to be cool back in the day, they call it lame now. So
Yeah.
you kind of figure
it's
that's
sad.
what I mean. Even conventional offices are closing down. Everybody's going home. Everybody's working from online. So we're entering into the great digital age.
Yeah.
It's here. I mean, you can't run away from it anymore. It started gradually, but now it's taking so much speed that it's hard to keep up with it. I mean, think about the phones we had back in the day when it just came out. We called Symbians. We had the Microsoft phones, the Nokias, and all of them. And if you wanted music, you had to go buy an extra memory card and put in there so you could have extra space.
And don't other countries still use those? Like, isn't it third world countries that are still like not caught up with the iPhone and shit?
China
They still use that stuff.
So no, China has made everything available for everybody. There's some countries you would go to. Yeah, name some phone like that does everything the iPhone does, but it's not an iPhone.
But it's just fake, like some fake China shit.
Yeah, just some. I wouldn't call it fake because this
You
is
mean like off brand? It's not really Apple.
it's
is
not
it?
really Apple.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't even look like Apple, but it just does everything that Apple does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only thing they will probably not have is structure because Apple definitely is a mega $1 trillion company and have some form of structure. That's what they wouldn't have. But they're like phones on the street that you buy, like Androids, for instance. Android is free for all. You don't necessarily have to be tied to a network to operate your Android. So there are countries where they use mostly Android, for instance. Like when I use the Android, yes, the benefit of it, I could download anything for free off the net without having to pay for it.
But
I could
you
have
get your
music.
shit hacked.
Yeah.
I had an iPhone since I'd say 2012.
Yeah.
2012, 2013.
Okay.
Ain't ever once had a security problem with my iPhone.
Yeah,
Never once.
Remember, that's why I was talking about the structure. That's something you can never take away from
Android, I
Apple.
did have an Android a couple of times. I never had a problem with it, but I'm just saying iPhone, they've been staying true. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is that you should be able to have a choice because with Samsung, for instance, people brag about iPhone cameras. I've seen a Samsung that one of the customer representative at a T-Mobile store pulled up for me. The dude was able to zoom at the moon in details with a Samsung phone. And that was a badass camera to me. And the thing with Android also is you're not limited to a lot of stuff that you are limited to when it comes to like iPhone. You could be super, you could get really detailed and organized with your Android. That's like the little difference here and there. And it's a preference thing also because Apple has like the FaceTime, which I heard Samsung just started.
It's just like
doing
Apple
now.
software. You don't have Android Pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Apple just has so much shit that's
And
just
accessories
easier.
too. And I think something
easier.
Apple went the way Apple went
Better
over
for
a
daily
lot of
life.
people
Better
like
for daily life.
yeah, they have accessories too, like the AirPods, the iWatch, and everything connects together. You could like everything is being operated by one device. So I think that's where Apple trumps the
It's
rest
a
of the
platform.
people. Yeah, it is.
It ain't just a fucking device with like, and everything else you can just kind of buy, and it's either made that it's compatible with Android.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
The founding father is a genius. I mean, I remember the statement he made about the iPods, right? So when they were trying to release the iPods, they said, "Oh, this is a song that this is a device that you could save a lot of songs on." I can't forget. I forgot the actual terminology they use, but he said, "No, the way you should put this out there is that this is 1,000,000 songs in your pocket." And that marketing strategy kind of just changed the whole game. Like, think about it. You could, at that time, everybody wanted to have a place where they could save all the songs they love instead of carrying a Walkman around and all this stuff
Old school
around.
cassette player with the earbuds.
But this dude came in with this little small device, and you could just store as much music as you wanted in there digitally. So those are things that Apple have created that's very innovative. That's why they're still alive today, because it's a company that they solve problems, whether you like it or not. They do. They kind of make your life easier. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you look at your iWatch, tells you your temperature, reads how you were sleeping last night. You could go on.
You could get your house ran on Apple,
exactly,
like iHome and shit. All the So, same with like what's the shit? The Amazon shit.
Oh, Jeff Bezos?
No, it's Alexa. Alexa, yeah.
Amazon is a great company.
Yeah, you can get your house. Oh, yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah, they sell convenience. They don't own most of the product they sell, but the fact that you could just sit in your house and everything just comes to you. So this is why these companies are going to thrive. So yes, another thing. I am genuinely curious to see what company is going to outshine these guys. Because it's going to really
take... You said what company?
What company is going to come from the other ground and outshine it? Because
our company.
Bezos said...
Our company.
Bezos said that he thinks that he knows... This is what he says. He knows that one day Amazon is going to definitely give way to another company that's going to do something better. So if our life has been made so easy with technology this far, and in my mind, I'm thinking, this is it. And just like we talked about the PS2, I was thinking, this is it. So what's next for technology?
Probably fucking building transformers and shit.
I mean, we have cars that drive themselves now.
Yeah, fuck Tesla.
Why?
I'm just kidding, bro. I love fuck Elon Musk, but Teslas, I just would never drive an electric car. Fuck that.
Why?
I mean, I'll drive one to drive it, but I wouldn't buy one.
Why?
I'm an 80's baby, bro.
Okay.
Listen, to be clarified, I'm fucking the youngest out of all of us.
Yeah.
In the gym, I'm probably one of the youngest. But that's just how I was raised. My coach, like, dude, I love an old fucking like loud engine,
classic cars,
engine, classic cars. I mean, it doesn't have to even be classic, but like I want an engine, I want a sound, I want like big. You love the big trucks, the muscle to it, the speed, the sound. I can't fucking do with like. Fucking sounds like Brad's car, man. He starts that bitch up in the morning when he pulls out drive-through. It sounds like a spaceship. It's like, like what the fuck is that, bro? Like what kind of like you know what I mean?
So my rule of thumb with cars.
You ever heard a cammed out Mustang start up?
I've heard. Yeah.
That bad boy. Chest thumping.
Everywhere's shaking.
Yeah, now that's annoying, but like still, like that shit. That's something you don't beat that sound. Like a motorcycle, Harley, all that shit.
I understand. Yeah, that's a certain level of respect you have to have for muscle cars. Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate on the Tesla. It's cool. You can kick back and drive it. Like it drives yourself. But like, why are we eliminating all the shit that humans like to do? We like, you know what I mean? We like to drive.
It's like we
like the shit.
Like the Formula Ones, how they sound.
Formula One's that's a badass sound too.
Yeah, I like Formula One.
Imagine like everything's electric, you don't hear that shit anymore. Everything's like quiet, like noise pollution, or like noise pollution probably go down, but here's
the thing though, people talk about carbon saving and stuff, but
pollution itself too, yeah. Somehow,
look, here's the thing: humans, the worst things for humans is not even cars. They're all the stuff that we do that fucks up the earth as well. So it's a compound effect. Yeah. So.
Yeah, right. If we just stop fucking littering the fuck out of the earth, we wouldn't have to worry about emissions.
For instance, stop putting stuff out there in the ocean.
In my opinion, I guess I'm not a fucking expert.
Biologist
I'm
and
not
stuff.
I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure that if you eliminate completely one thing, we'll be able to go eventually in the other.
And speaking of technology, that's a good thing with technology because right now they are creating a bunch of stuff that will help clean up the ocean, and it's really great when you see some of the things that, especially like in Asia, I've seen how they clean up like certain places with technology and how they've created a system. Great. So the line beyond all this is that as cool as the 80s was, we still live in a cool era. It's about what vibes with you because that era is not dead. It could be recreated. Everything you want on the you could go to a store and probably get it. If you can't get the exact thing, you could get a replica. So whatever vibe you find, just create it for yourself, but never ever throw out the sauce. That's where everything comes from.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Spitting facts. You want to go ahead and close the show out, Nosa?
All right.
It's been a pleasure.
All right. It's time for landing. Pow, pow, pow.
Yo, he said it's time for landing.
So the Punch Drunk Entertainment Podcast here again with the episode. This is episode number 4.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, here we go, doing our thing. So shout out to every youth out there, every young man out there trying to do what they can do. I mean, the world doesn't see you, but I want you to look at the mirror and see yourself. Every love you're trying to get out there, you can give it to yourself. So give yourself what you deserve and give yourself all the love you need. That's all you basically need in life. Give yourself love, give yourself peace, and make sure you work hard for the things you believe in. Nobody can explain things how you can explain it. Nobody can see your dream how you can see your dream. So you want to make sure you go after it, because if you don't bring it to light, it is a shame to us all. We deserve to see you grow. You deserve to see you grow. So keep doing you, keep believing, and step it up, young blood.
You keep it real as always, brother. That's a wrap, man.
Amen. Thank you, Juice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Y'all just press.